such as payment voucher numbers, invoice numbers, local purchase, and service order numbers, and chargeable account in support of the accounts payable balance. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the trade and other payable balance could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Governor. Tell us where you'll be getting your responses from.
Thank you, Chair. The Chief Officer, Salma, will attend to that.
Yes, but you need to know the documents that we shall rely on. Is it this big document here? Okay, Chief Officer. You can't respond from there. You must get, if you're the one who is responding, a seat in front here. Are you the one who is doing the responses? On behalf of the governor?
Thank you, Chair. The management response and step taken. I will start with management response. The amount of 8,663,719 reported comprises two distinct balances that were erroneously combined and disclosed under trade and other payable in the financial statement. The balance consists of 2.1 million related to account payable and 6.5 million relating to employee benefit obligation, gratuity. The inclusion of the gratuity balance under trade and other payable resulted in an overstatement of the trade and other payable balance. It contributed to the observation that payables amounting to 8.6 million had remained outstanding for more than 3 years. Management has reviewed the record and confirmed that supporting ledger are available for the account payable balance. The ledger contains the requisite details, including payment voucher number, invoice number, local LPO, LSO number, and the respective chargeable account. The supporting ledger and schedule have been attached. Further, management has undertaken initiative to reduce the outstanding account payable balance. At the beginning of the year, the trade and other payable balance stood to be 31 million. Through settlement of outstanding obligation and enhanced payable management, the balance has been significantly reduced to 10 million to date, demonstrating management commitment to clearing long outstanding liability and strengthening financial management practice. Management will also ensure that future financial statements appropriately classify employee benefit obligations separately from trade and other payables to enhance the accuracy, completeness, and reliability of financial reporting. The supporting schedule for trade and other payables has been updated to include all previous missing information: payment voucher number, invoice number, LPO, LSO, reference, and respective chargeable account. Appendix 1, updated pending bill status report. Step taken by the management has reviewed the 8.6 million balance and established 2.1 relate to account payable, while 6.5 relate to employee benefit obligation, and was inadvertently classified under trade and other payable. The classification error will be corrected in future financial. Supporting ledger contains payment voucher number, invoice number, LPO number, and chargeable account have been provided for audit verification. Additionally, management has strengthened reconciliation procedure and documentation control to ensure completeness and accuracy of payable balance. Further, management has undertaken measures to reduce the outstanding liability, resulting in reduction of trade and other payables from 31.5 million at the beginning of financial year, which is 2024-2025, to million to date. Management remains committed to clearing the remaining balances and enhancing financial controls to prevent recurrence of similar issues. Thank you.
Auditor, has the management answered to the query? And
But Governor, just address a specific issue that has been raised by the on provision of the vouchers. Yeah, because I can tell you for free, I sit here and listen to Governor. This is one of the best responses to this question I've ever had. And if you just dealt with the question of the vouchers, why are you saying give them better? Just give them today or tomorrow. You should have given, and then we would close this issue.
Senator, I think this related to 24-25. What she said in the current year, that's when the payment made. And when they come for the audit, they will have all.
Chair, maybe the auditor needs to clarify what documents are not provided.
Thank you, Chair. If you look at the query,
Yes.
the 2.1 and 6.5, which comes to 8.3,
Yes.
have been stated to have been outstanding for over 3 years. That is what the query is saying. So if you look at their response, what they provided, under 2.1, only 50,000 has been paid. Then under 6.5, no proof of payment has actually been provided. And the gist of the query is that you need to pay what is outstanding. The longest outstanding should be paid first.
that is FIFO.
Yes.
Thank
you, Chair.
And also, Governor, I should have provided the aging analysis of the pending bills, because now there's a finding that the outstanding pending bills for over 3 years. Okay, there was no aging analysis of the pending bills. Or do you have it?
And secondly, Chair, it shows that, Governor, you are not prioritizing old debt. So it is possible that the 10 that is remaining is entirely debt over 3 years. Is that the case?
No.
Let
Out
me,
of 10 million, 2 million is outstanding for three years.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
The rest, 8 million, it is for this financial year.
Okay.
And we are intending to use up to.
But do you understand what the auditor is saying? That you have not shown us, other than the 50K that you paid for under the 2.1, you have not demonstrated where the rest of the money, whether it has been paid or not. That's the query.
Out of 2.1 million,
Yes.
we have already paid 50,000. Yes.
Only.
Well, yes. For the 6.5, those are payment in respect to grant for financial year 2013 to 2017.
Yes, that is the problem.
Yes,
have you paid?
which
How
are
much have
still,
you paid?
we have reduced to 5 million, but they are still outstanding.
So where is that proof? of that 5 million, the payment. If you are saying you've reduced to 5 million, it means you've paid 1.5 million.
That's why I was saying this was outstanding for 2024, 2025. When they come for audit, they will review this, and we are going to issue all the payment vouchers since they will be doing 2024, 2025, 26.
So members, I want
For
to
the
start with
arrears.
because there
Was a payment made through the chair?
yes.
When did you pay? When did you pay? Or you paid this financial year?
Chair,
Yes, Senator Dulo.
I think it is really unfair for gratuity to stay for 3 years for somebody who has left the county. And you can afford to pay the governor 10 million for his insurance. You cannot pay small monies to small people. Is that really fair? Why would you punish members of staff who have already left you if that is meant for that?
Chair, I think I will explain.
Okay, yes.
Sergeant at arms, give him mic.
Where is the sergeant?
Honorable Chair, with the blessing of my governor,
You introduce yourself, please.
my name is Felix. I'm the one who handles HR directorate. In respect to the issue of gratuity, the county is committed to pay gratuity. But again, it is incumbent to the employees themselves to claim the gratuity.
Because you're making things worse. You know, it's a Friday.
And then number two,
Just stop there.
there is also an aspect of clearing with the county for you to be able to, for us to be able to.
The issue here is,
Yes.
Director, was the money remitted to the insurance like CPF, LAP trust, LAP fund, sorry?
Between 2013 to 2017,
Yes, was that
we did
money
not have a CPF and LAP fund at the time. The money was being kept in a commercial bank account at Diamond Trust Bank, which the monies are still there.
So you are saying it is the employees who are not.
Yes, because we've been following up.
Can you give us a proof to that effect? Because you cannot say that the employees are those who have already left. They are not claiming their money. Is it really possible? It
Chair,
doesn't work.
Chair, the easiest thing would have been, Felix, to come before us with bank statement that shows there is some 8 million Kenya shillings balance in this bank account. We are just waiting for people to claim and we'll pay them.
Is it
Nothing
possible
would have
to show
been
that?
more difficult than that.
Is it possible to show that the amount of money is there, only that people have not claimed?
I think, Chair, through the chief officer, she has said that we have reduced the payment. It is not anymore 6.5.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes,
Point
Senator
of order,
Spooner.
Chair.
We've
Governor, it's a straightforward issue. Can you demonstrate, is that account still there? Is the money still there? Do you have a schedule of the people who should be claiming this money before us this morning, or you can provide?
Honorable Senator, we can even call the bank. They can send us statement we can give you now.
So members,
show
I
the
think
funds
for the
are
sake of efficiency, let us provide that information in 7 days. Because
Okay,
you're saying if you call
maybe for
Through the
the
chair.
schedule, it is available with you.
yes,
Can
and
you-
then the bank statement showing that the
Where's the schedule?
It is an appendix 1.
appendix 1.
Yes, in the big document.
I think members, for the sake of efficiency, we look at this issue and we know where the problem is. We provide.
We have seen the schedule. Are these people such a close-knit society?
County properties, and you have to clear so that we can release.
So they also owe you money.
Okay,
This is a very strange
members,
situation.
for the sake of efficiency, I think we understood where the problem is, where the query is, and what is still outstanding. I want us to look at issue number 2.
Oh, so Chair, what I understand is now you tell you planning of this government.
Yes.
The governor, you're telling us is that there are employees who may be claiming less than they would pay the county during clearance. Or what are you saying? Why are they afraid of a claim?
Honorable Senator, not really. You know, some people, just the fact to come and clear, they make it such an issue. Somebody might be having a laptop which they have not returned, but some of them, I also don't understand, because this money is there and we are willing to pay.
Auditor, issue number 2.
Thank you, Chair. Issue number 2 is undisclosed. Position reflects a nil balance in respect of receivables from non-exchange transactions. However, Exchequer releases totaling Kenya shillings 675,122,501 was received after closure of the financial year, resulting to misstatement of receivables from non-exchange transactions balance. In the circumstances, the presentation and disclosure of receivables from non-exchange transactions could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Chair. Governor, sorry. Senator Kamau.
Chair, there is a clarification I wanted from the governor on Appendix 1 on those people that are claiming to be paid some money.
Okay, just
on number 126. Sorry for taking you back, Chair.
It's okay.
126. Number 126, there is county executive. So I'm not. How comes that there's the county government that is county executive that is claiming to be paid?
Governor, who is
county executive?
The county executive, who is claiming 309,677 shillings.
This is the interest accrued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senator Kamau, that's okay.
So
beautiful. Okay, auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Undisclosed receivables from non-exchange transactions. The statement of financial position reflects nil balance in respect of receivables from non-exchange transactions. However, Exchequer releases totaling Kenya shilling 675,122,501 was received after the closure of the financial year, resulting to misstatement of receivables from non-exchange transactions balance. In the circumstances, the presentation and disclosure of receivables from non-exchange transactions could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. The Director Accounting Services, Bas, will respond to that.
Thank you, Governor. Honorable Chair, the management response, the county executive transfer from CRF amounting to Kenya shilling 675,122,501 received between 1st July to 15th July 2025 had been disclosed as received in the cash book, not recorded in the bank statement, which form part of cash and cash equivalent as at 30th June 2025, since the payment had been authorized and transferred to the county executive operational bank account by the controller of budget. We have attached the Appendix 1B, whereby we show the bank reconciliation as at 30th June 2025, where the unpresented payments and receipts showing. We also take the steps taken. Management review the treatment of the county executive's transfer from the county revenue fund amounting to Kenya shilling 675,122,501 received between 1st and 15th July 2025. The transfer had been authorized by the control of budget and recorded in the cash book as a receipt not reflected in the bank statement as of 30th June 2025. So management has provided relevant supporting documentation and disclosure to support the recognition and presentation of the balance in the financial statements. Maybe just in addition, these are payments made after the closure financial year, but we have already received all the approval. It's only the process that has been delayed. So we are given a leeway to pay up to 15th July. So these are payments that are reflected and they are being appropriated in that financial year. Thank you.
Auditor, does that answer the query?
Thank you, Chair. The issue was what is actually said partially answers the query because what he's saying is correct, that the 675 million was actually received after the financial year. However, if you look at the provisions of the Public Financial Management Act, a financial period is defined as between 1st July to 30th June. So under accrual, the 30th June should actually be the cut-off date. And what the auditor was saying, that amount should actually have been presented as receivables since it has actually been expensed. So that after the financial year, we should now see them paying creditors. That is what
these are the teething challenges of shifting from cash basis to accrual.
Yes, so their treatment was purely still on cash basis.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
So I think because we're just beginning the transition and we are on a learning curve, I think we can keep that in view. Yeah, so that don't flog it further. Members? Okay. Number 3, that's about non-compliance. We can keep it in view. Then the next one, we want to look at unresolved prior matters. Are there any issues in the prior year that were not resolved that you want us to look at?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Let me just check first. Governor, do you have the responses for the prior matters?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. There was one on county attorney.
There's one on county attorney.
Let's see what was still outstanding.
Chair, we had addressed this and presented to the Senate.
Auditor, is it addressed? He's saying that it is still outstanding. What was the issue on the county attorney?
On the county attorney, the issue was that the office of the county attorney is still vacant. No substantive recruitment has been done.
You don't need to look for it. Just, Governor, have you filled the office of the county attorney?
We shall fill it before end of July.
What are the challenges?
Budget.
Send us for now.
Governor, you are looking for problems. So when you're saying you will fill it by the end of July, it means you have started the process. Is there an advertisement that we can see here? Is there an advertisement here? What is where is the process? If it takes if you are saying by end of July, we are in the middle of June, have you put out an advertisement?
In order to promote those who have been serving the county government in the legal department, I was thinking of doing an internal advertisement.
Even that requires an advertisement,
yes,
doesn't it? So has the process started or not, Governor? Because you can't give a definite period if you have not even started.
We had a discussion, and we looked at the law. There was case law also of Kisii, and that's when we thought we should do it internally to promote people who have been.
So now you have budget.
Yes.
You have budgeted for it.
To the Senate, we have received an extra 80 million, and that's where I believe we'll have the funds for that.
So that query will not go away?
Right.
Just do what is supposed to be done. Is there any other auditor?
Thank you, Chair. There was another one on irregular procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricants.
Is it the one that is in the current?
On page 6 of the responses prior year.
So I think.
And the matter was under EACC investigations.
Or it's under EACC investigation. So for us, if we were to look at it, we would still recommend investigation. So maybe we just wait for EACC to complete its work. Members. The next one would be budgetary control and performance. That's accounting, auditor?
That's a funding issue.
So we'll keep it in view. The next one would be the report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. We can look at number 2, paragraph 2, failure to adhere to threshold for persons with disabilities. Go through that one.
Thank you, Chair. Failure to adhere to thresholds of persons with disability. Review of the human resource records revealed that the county executive had 100,461 staff. The number included 24 members of staff from the special interest groups, which represents 1.6% of the total members of staff, instead of the required 5%. Further, the county executive recruited 130 employees during the year. However, no persons living with disability were recruited. This was contrary to Section 3B, subsection 2 of the Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual for the Public Service, approved May 2016, on the rights and privileges of persons with disabilities on all appointments, which sets the threshold principle of 5% of positions to be filled by persons with disability. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Director HR Felix will address that.
Director.
With the blessing of my governor, Chair, the county executive is committed to complying with the job recruitment provisions for persons with disabilities. As a result, we had successfully onboarded 24 employees, which represents 1.6% of the total workforce, according as per the OAG observations. This marks an increase from 18 employees in the previous financial year 23-24. The county recruited 130 employees during the financial year 2024-2025, and of the potential candidates who applied, the Lamu County Public Service employed 2 employees persons with disabilities, as indicated below. These are names of 2 employees indicated out of the 130. Further, Section B5 of the Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual of Lamu County Public Service states that recruitment will be undertaken based on fair competition and merit, representation of Kenya's diverse communities, adequate and equal opportunities to all genders, youth and members of ethnic groups, persons with disabilities, and minorities. Additionally, Section B223(1) and 2 of the same manual states that persons with disabilities shall be accorded equal employment opportunities, provided they have the necessary qualifications and are suitable for such employment. The county government shall implement the principle that at least 5% of all appointments shall be persons with disabilities. On the steps taken to address the issue, As of May 2026, engagements with our county staff revealed that a number of employees with disabilities had not submitted their national persons with disability identification cards. Consequently, on submission and proper mapping within our payroll systems, the number increased from 24 to 38, that raising the percentage to 2.3% of the total workforce, which is currently at 1,608. So it is our commitment as a county to ensure that we meet the legal threshold. However, it should be noted that only a few candidates among the PWD meet the required academic qualifications and other criteria for employment. Those who qualify are always given the opportunity, and we will continue to adhere to the constitutional principles in our recruitment, and hopefully we will attain the threshold. Thank you.
Before you go to the auditor, you're saying that it is our commitment as a county to ensure we meet the legal threshold. However, it should be noted that only a few candidates among the PWD meet the required academic qualifications and other criteria for employment. Is that a fact?
It is a fact.
How do you establish this?
Ideally, the section that the auditors picked was on section 2 that requires 5% of the total workforce. But section 1 communicates about the requirements of that particular job, meaning that the PWD threshold or principle, you will only consider it after the candidate has already attained or has proven to be qualified for that particular position. And so what we are trying to say is that all the people that
are saying the ones who apply,
yes,
don't qualify.
Yes.
Okay. Not that they are not there.
Yes.
And we cannot say emphatically that there are no people with academic qualifications in Kenya who qualify for the criterion of employment, unless you say the ones who apply are not qualified in qualifications. Yes?
That is the correct position.
Yes, that's a better position.
Yes.
Auditor? Yes, Senator.
Chairman, sorry, Chair. I wanted you to explain to us whether this John Ndungu is still working in the county government.
Where did you get that from?
In the response.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
In respect to employee John Jogu, we were responding on the 130. That is number one. Number two, John Jogu, around last year, he left the country for the national government. So we had to respond out of the 130 whether there were any considerations on employment, and he was amongst the 130 that had been employed by the time.
Auditor, what is still outstanding in that query?
Chairman, before the director comes here,
yes.
You see the auditor relies on records that is given by the entity. So if the employees had not submitted documents to indicate that they have these certificates from that indicate that they are really disabled, there is no way the auditor will be able to determine that information. Okay? So request the entity really to update the personal files with that kind of information for the auditor to be able to make that determination.
Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. Based on what my colleague said, I think management should also provide us with maybe a sensitization, let's say a memo or notice given to employees within the workforce who are persons with disability to actually go for registration and bring the certificates so that we can evaluate the answer. However, this matter is a cross-cutting matter, so I think we can't finalize it here and we can keep it in view. Thank you, Chair.
Senator.
No, Chair, I just wanted to find out from auditors, how did you pick that? Because when they are doing advertisements, they should be able to pick those who are qualified, especially PWDs. Is it determined by them being registered with the Disability Council, or the certificate they are holding, or the physical appearance of the PWDs? Because you cannot just pick that.
Thank you, Chair. I think during advertisement, it should be among the policy that at least if they're recruiting 130, they should reserve a certain number for persons with disability, so that as they process the applications, then they're mapped out. I think that would be the best. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, there's a line in your response. That is the first paragraph, steps taken to address the issue. You indicate that consequently, on submission and proper mapping within our payroll systems, the number increased from 24 to 38. So the percentage came to 2.3. That's what you're saying. These extra people living with disabilities, do they have cards?
When we identified them, it is a requirement that they have a card, and we have encouraged them to come and apply for the disability.
And that is my point. If they don't have the cards,
we don't consider them as PW.
Do they enjoy the benefits like non-payment of taxes?
No, they don't. It's not allowed.
If they don't have the cards.
They have to have the card.
That's interesting. Very interesting. So what have you done about it? Because if they are paying payee like any other person, then they are disadvantaged. What have you done? Maybe some are just ignorant.
And that's why when we identified, we have helped them to make those applications.
Have you helped them make the applications, or it was just for the sake of the query?
HR.
With the blessing of my governor, we've really supported the people living with disabilities, at least to be able to get the tax exemption from KRA. And once we did this sensitization for us to realize them and to inform them that officially the only way we can be able to recognize them within our payroll system, because auditors audit our system, not merely the physical files. So that is where now the numbers have risen, and the numbers that we are speaking about, 38, are the ones with the cards, and the ones that we've also supported in getting the tax exemption and the other benefits that are due for them.
We can keep that in view. The next paragraph would be underpayment of salaries.
Thank you, Chair. A review of the payroll records and payment of salaries
on record.
Through the chair, Cherargei produces my name, Senator of the Republic of Kenya, representing the great people of Nandi. Chair, I was late because I was preparing for Nairobi. I was just doing press ups in my office. Thank you, Chair.
Governor. Governor, please respond.
Thank you, Chair. I'll ask again the Human Resource Director to respond to that.
Okay, Director.
Chair, with the blessing of my governor, the county executive acknowledges the observation regarding the payment of gross salaries of the county executive committee members and the county governor at the rates applicable to the 2023-2024 financial year, rather than the revised rates stipulated for the 2024-2025 financial year as by the Gazette Notice Volume CXXV number 177 dated 9 August 2023.
However, it is important to clarify that the revised remuneration structure for the financial year 2024-2025, although gazetted, was not operationalized across the 47 county governments. The implementation of such salary adjustment is centrally coordinated by the State Department for Public Service, specifically through the Directorate of Personnel Service Management, DPSM, which updates the Human Resource Information System, Kenya, to reflect the changes. As of the date of the audit review, the HRSKE had not been updated to incorporate the revised salary rates for the state officers in the county executive, and no formal communication or system enablement had been issued to counties to effect the changes. Consequently, payroll processing continued at the prevailing rates for 2023-2024 in line with the system configurations and national guidance. Furthermore, it is worth noting that another circular from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, that is reference number SRC TS 29 volume 2 29 dated 12th September 2024, affecting remuneration for other categories of county government employees for the same financial year also remained unimplemented due to similar system and procedural delays. Management is committed to ensuring full compliance with applicable remuneration frameworks from the Salaries Remuneration Commission, and will promptly implement the revised rates on the HRSKE as updated and formal instructions are revised from the relevant authorities. We have provided steps taken that Kenya Gazette notice volume CXSV number 177 dated 9 August 2023 for the county state officers was implemented in the month of February 2026 alongside the SRC circular reference number SRC TS 29 volume 2 29 dated 12 September 2024 for other county employees for the same financial year across the 47 counties, including Lamu County. Therefore, we affirm that we have paid and are now in compliance with the current rates. Management is committed in ensuring full compliance with the applicable remuneration frameworks from the Salaries Remuneration Commission, and will promptly implement the revised rates as communicated from time to time. Thank you.
Auditor, how does that answer your query?
Thank you, Chair. It was an issue of compliance with the law. So since they were operationalized, they've actually complied with the law. So I think what we'll look at in this coming financial year will be on the impact, because you'll note that on compliance with the law, their compensation of employees was 53% of their total revenue. So if they implement that, that means that threshold will go up. And in their response, they've not given us what is the financial implication of the increase. Thank you, Chair.
No, but you're not querying the financial implication.
We aren't querying the financial implication. We are querying compliance with the law. So now
compliance with the law, and they are saying
yes,
that gazette notice was not operationalized.
Yes.
By
then.
HRIS KE. Is that finding correct? Because then there was breach of law and we want to mitigate. Is it an issue that you got in other counties?
Okay, I wouldn't know unless I inquire from my counterparts from other counties and see whether it was a cross-cutting issue. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, or I didn't get that.
I'm saying I can inquire from my other counterparts from other counties and see whether this issue was also cross-cutting in their counties. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Governor, we have complied now.
Yes, we are.
But then there was breach during the time of audit in the particular year. So I think when we're writing our report, we'll see how to treat that matter.
I think
because yes,
we have a response on the wage bill. We do not agree with the percentage.
Because it's substantive, we can deal with it at that level.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Center.
Chair, I thought, Governor, you should have provided this information, or you got it from SRC through the chair. Why was there delay in terms of providing this information? Because it should not have escalated to the audit query. Because if you are doing entry, exit, management meeting, management letter, these things should have been resolved. What happened? Number one. Number two, why was you have indicated steps taken through the chair. You have not indicated that you have either taken any administrative action for any officer that did not sufficiently provide. And then finally, Chair, I've seen in your response you are telling us the HRS, the new one, had not been updated to incorporate the revised salary rates. But if you look at the previous financial year, and I want to thank the OAG through the chair, the unresolved prior year audit matters had captured that you are doing payment outside the previous use of IPPD. What was the case? Thank you, Chair, for those three.
Governor.
I think the issue of IPPD, that has now been resolved. It was true that we were paying casuals outside the payroll, but that has now been addressed.
Governor, through the chair, I've asked a simple question. So what is, you are a lawyer, what is, through the chair, what is it has been resolved, but there was a breach of law, and you know ignorance of the law is not an excuse, through the chair. So how did you rectify? That's what I'm asking, because Chair, it has been raised twice, just twice. Senator Dullo should be patient. It has been raised twice. So that's my only concern in the previous financial year and this year. So
the Senator, the system was not updated.
No, that is what I'm saying. HRS was paid outside. Even in IPPD, it has been captured in unsolved prior year matters at Appendix 1, the same issue. So even if it has been rectified, there was a breach of law. So I expected the governor to say the steps taken. He has not indicated what he has taken, including
in terms of administrative action.
Yes.
Governor, the steps taken we have rectified. What is important is that there was a mistake. It has been corrected.
Chair, can you assist the governor? I don't want to come back again. He says steps taken has been rectified, but there is a breach of the law.
Chair is saying there was a breach of law. So that person who breached the law, then some administrative action should be taken to mitigate, either a warning letter, training, or whatever. That's what he's saying. Otherwise, but for efficiency, because Nairobi is just coming in, we've seen documents coming in already. I want us to, because there are remedial measures that have been taken, the rest we can do as we can keep it in view through the auditor. I want us to look at 5. That is avoidable expenditure on accrued interest. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. A review of records established that an amount of Kenya shillings 5,749,700 was paid to a private legal practitioner as legal fees. The court had ruled that the county executive pays the plaintiff an amount of Kenya shillings 3,938,604 less pay by 1st October 2021. However, management paid a total of Kenya shillings 5,749,700 as legal fees, resulting to overpayment occasioned by accrued interest totaling Kenya shillings 1,811,096 as a result of failure to settle the payment in time. This was contrary to Section 162, subsection 2, subsection B of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states that every public officer employed in or by the county government shall ensure that resources within their officer's area of responsibility are used in a way that is lawful and authorized and effective, efficient, economical, and transparent. Further review of records revealed that an expenditure totaling Kenya shillings 7,169,709 was made to a widow of a former member of staff under work injury benefit who died in line of duty in June 2014. The total amount payable was Kenya shillings 15,000,000 848,544 determined by the Directorate of Occupational Health and Safety Services, Ministry of Labor. However, the failure to maintain an insurance policy with an insurer was not explained. This was contrary to Section 7, Subsection 1 of the Work Injury Benefit Act 2017, which provides that every employer shall obtain and maintain an insurance policy with an insurer approved by the Minister in respect of any liability that the employer may incur under this Act to any of his employees. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Our Director Legal will respond to that. But I must also point out that even if the staff we lost during June 14th...
We can start with the response.
Yeah.
The way it is done, then you can add that later on.
Maybe.
Let's hear the response first.
Okay.
You said your name is?
My name is Kulthum Harith.
Okay. Director Legal. Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
The delayed payment of Kenya shilling 5,749,700 to the claimant advocate being the decretal amount awarded in Rafael Munya Ndungu versus the County Government of Lamu 2018 and Rafael Munya Ndungu versus the County Government of Lamu 2021 arose from the non-settlement of the decree by the previous administration and failure to provide a handing over report on cases outsourced and status, leading to accrual of interest. Upon establishing the existence and status of the judgment, the current county executive took steps to address the outstanding liability and mitigate further financial exposure to the county government. Consequently, provisions were made and payment effecting during the financial year 2023-2024 and financial year 2024-2025 to settle the decretal amount in full. The settlement of the decretal amount demonstrates the county government commitment to complying with court orders, reducing contingent liability and promoting prudent financial management and development programs. Work injury benefit compensation without insurance cover. The county executive acknowledged the payment of Kenya shilling 7,169,709 to the estate of the late Mr. Ayub Kinyuma Mbogo in compliance with the directive issued by the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services via its letter reference number WIBA CGL 1432 dated 6 February 2020. The late Mr. Ayub Kinyuma Mbogo lost his life during the Mpeketoni terror attack in 2014 at a time when devolution had recently been operationalized and the county governments were still in their formative stages. Consequently, the county government had not yet procured a work injury benefit insurance cover for its employee. In recognition of the deceased entitlement to compensation under the Work Injury Benefit Act, Cap 236 of the laws of Kenya, and in order to avoid protracted litigation and the attendant legal cost, as well as to evaluate the hardship faced by the deceased dependents who relied on him for their livelihood, maintenance and education, the county government paid the amount assessed and directed by the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection through the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. Consequently, the county government procured a comprehensive insurance cover through the National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, now transitioned to the Social Health Insurance, SHA. In addition, the county government is engaging this Social Health Authority and other relevant stakeholders to ensure that all employees are appropriately insured and that the county remains compliant with the provision of Section 7 of the Work Injury Benefit Act, Cap 236. Step taken. Adequate budgetary provisions have been made for settlement of court awards and legal obligations. Outstanding court decrees and verified claims have been prioritized for payment. Coordination between the legal and financial department has been strengthened to ensure timely processing of claims. A register of pending legal obligation has been established for continuous monitoring and prompt settlement. Regular review of legal liability is undertaken to prevent delay and avoid the accrual of interest.
Lamu is doing quite well in terms of giving quite comprehensive answers. Auditor, what is still outstanding?
Thank you, Chair. The only thing that is still outstanding is in their response, they've indicated that they're in negotiation with correspondence with SHA to explore whether they can actually have an insurance covering employees on work injury. So I think that is what is work in progress. So we didn't get any correspondence from them. So I think as we go into the in-year audits, we'll actually inquire and see whether there is active engagement. Thank you, Chair.
But on the issue of paying interest on the declaratory sum, there's nothing much you can do about it.
There's nothing much you can do because the first one was based on a court order and the second one was also based on a government department directive. Thank you, Chair.
But then the steps taken, can they suffice to mitigate?
What now they've not told us is...
It's okay. Senator Andy.
Governor, I've noticed, I've read this report. I've noticed there is a lot of breach of law. You know, I'll not forgive you because you are a lawyer. And I want to repeat that if there is no excuse of the law, you don't have, and your legal person is just there. But Chair, since we adopted this report as is, I want to take the trajectory that you have taken, all steps taken. I wish for efficiency, they would have, and for example, let me just speak to in the interest of time, a register of pending legal obligations should have even been provided so that we are aware how much and look at the contingency liabilities that have been allocated. Number one, these outstanding good degrees and verified claims should have been attached. I don't know what you mean by coordination between legal and finance has been strengthened to ensure timely processing of claims. You have not attached anything. The regular review of legal liabilities undertaken to prevent. So looking, Chair, at even budgetary provisions, even if, because in the budget, and I can see the gentleman who is always with you is aware that it should have provided even the contingent liability, and he is a survivor. He must be a very good survivor. So, Chair, the budgetary on the issue of the register of claims, Chair, and then the budgetary provision through contingent liability, and then finally, Chair, on these degrees that the courts have issued. If the governor would have attached, then we cannot just take the word for it.
Okay, Governor.
Chair, within the next 7 days, we can deliver that to the Senate.
The Chair is to make a ruling. Are you seated? The Chairman
is requesting. Say, I request, Governor.
I request.
So let's have that information in the next 7 days. We are really pressed for time, but I want us to look at one more, just one more. That is the bullet on the paragraph on irregular procurement of fuel, oil and lubricants. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Irregular procurement of fuel, oil and lubricants. The statement of financial performance reflects expenditure on use of goods and services totaling Kenya shillings 474,512,195 as disclosed in Note 10 to the financial statements. The expenditure includes an amount of Kenya shillings 67,560,295 in respect to fuel, oil and lubricants. Review of the procurement documents revealed that the county executive procured oil and lubricants through request for quotation. This was contrary to the provision of Regulation 91 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Regulations 2020, which provides that a procuring entity that procures using the request for quotation method pursuant to Section 105 of the Act shall be subject to the procurement threshold in the second schedule, which provides that for goods and works and services, the maximum level of expenditure under this method is Kenya shillings 3 million per request for quotation. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Our Director Supply Chain, Salim, will address that.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Salim Ahmed, Director Supply Chain. Management has noted the auditor's observation regarding the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant through the request for quotation method and appreciate the concern raised on compliance and Regulation 91 of the Public Procurement and Asset Regulation 2020 and the expenditure threshold for RFQ contained in the second schedule. After reviewing the matter, management wishes to provide the following clarifications. Department in the county government are independent procuring entity as defined under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Section 2 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act defines public entity to include any organ or department of county government. In line of this definition, each county department was treated as distinct procuring entity with its own designated accounting officer as provided for under Section 44 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Accordingly, each department initiated and managed its own procurement process based on its approved procurement plan and budget. Each fuel purchase was conducted within the RFQ threshold. The procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant by department was undertaken individually, and each request fell within the allowable RFQ threshold of 3 million per procurement in accordance with Section 105 of our PPAD Act 2015, Regulation 91 of the PPAD Regulation 2020, and second schedule of threshold matrix. No single requisition exceeded the prescribed limit, and therefore the procurement method applied was compliant at the departmental level. Decentralized procurement was based on operational structure. Department initiate fuel procurement due to the operational needs such as field operation, transport logistics, and machinery support. Each department also maintain its own vote book of account and spending authority, making it necessary to conduct procurement at the departmental level rather than centrally. The decentralized approach was therefore consistent with the departmental mandate, budgetary allocation, and the operational need to ensure continuity service delivery. Aggregation was not practically possible, although the overall county expenditure appears consolidated at the financial statement level. This does not reflect the translational reality, which involves multiple independent micro-procurement undertaken at different times by different departments and for the different operational purposes. As a result, aggregation into one bulk procurement for the financial year was not feasible, nor it is required where departments act as a separate procuring entity under the Act, Section 2. Improvement measures going forward. To enhance compliance and avoid misinterpretation in future audits, management in implementation of the following actions. Central consolidation of fuel framework contracts to supplement departmental RFQ where appropriate. In conclusion, management therefore maintained that the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant was conducted in compliance with the Public Procurement Act 2015 and Regulation 2020. Each county department qualified as a public entity under Section 2 of the Act. Each department had its own accounting officer and initiated procurement independently. All purchases were within the 3 million RFQ threshold as provided by under Section Regulation 91 and second schedule. Steps taken. The county government undertook an open...
Leave that, eh?
Yes.
Because it's quite long. Auditor, that explanation, how does it sit with you? That each department was doing procurement separately?
Thank you, Chair.
Less than 3 million, but when you aggregate, then it becomes very big.
So now what we would have loved to see was just to see the list of LPOs that were issued in respect of each department with amounts indicating that the threshold of 3 million was actually met by all, and if you aggregate them, then you arrive at the total figure. That would have made a lot of sense. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I have a problem with your indulgence. OAG, so when you saw this advert for the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricants, it was one consolidated tender as per your observation, because in your certificate you have raised that when it is below 3 million, you can request through quotation, but when it is above, of course, you tap it. So when you were auditing, this was a consolidated tender?
No, it was not a consolidated tender.
Then why were you arguing that they procured beyond the threshold of request for quotation through the chair of 3 million?
Thank you, Chair. The audit observation was that if you look at the total fuel consumption, which is 67 million,
Correct.
That amount is huge. And if you are to do an open tender, then it is more efficient to manage because it can be controlled from a central point in terms of management and accountability. Thank you, Chair.
So finally, Chair, I've seen the governor has indicated, given detail, but you have seen steps taken is now to for open tender process for the supply. Governor, what was the reasoning of segregating these tenders and ensuring, we saw yesterday in Wajir that there was 1.9, 1.9. So why were you segregating to 3 million through your person? Why were you segregating? What is the justification? Because 67 million segregating into 3 million each, it will appear as cumbersome and lump sum. Or does it mean the access to fuel and lubricants in Lamu is a big problem?
Yes, Governor. Chair, I think this was for efficiency in operations. You have, we have like the Department of Health. We have level 4 hospitals, King Fahd, Pfizer Hospital, and Peketoni Hospital, each having their peculiar requirement for fuel. So for efficiency, we allowed the departments to procure.
Chair, just Governor, sorry for taking you, but I know we are rushing against time. If today you give this opportunity to, for example, Shell or Rubies or Starbucks or whichever, or Starbucks or Rubies or Shell or Total, I thought when you give tender, if there is a Shell that is next to King Fahd, they get their service there. Or you don't have maybe the senator, or you don't have a petrol station, for example, that is prominent within Lamu County, or a company that is prominent.
Not really. The geography is maybe a challenge.
Chair. Yes, Treasury. Please help us.
Yes.
Chair, maybe if I may understand the transaction, is that the county entities were procuring fuel, but the problem is they were not mapped such that now the aggregated figure is reflected in the executive. I think that is my understanding. Such that now the individual entities were procuring on their own, but it is reflected in the larger county.
That is how I've understood it also.
That is how I understand it. Because as the audit is saying is that they just saw the aggregated figure, which now they could not establish the source of that figure. That's why the audit is requesting for the individual quotations from if really it was done in the county entities. Now the individual entity, the respective quotations can clarify the whole amount of the 50+ million. I think that is my understanding.
No, the auditor made that finding, and the executive was supposed to explain. I don't know if you explained that during the time of audit. And if you did, then there must have been something that compelled the auditor still to escalate the issue up to this point. Auditor.
In addition to what you are saying, I thought also if governor is referring to some hospitals, I thought under the F5 Act they are supposed to generate their own financial statements. Then why was it appearing on consolidated executive financial statements? So the auditor maybe through the chair, through the chair, auditor, maybe you can give us the wisdom, because I thought if, for example, King Fahd Hospital has its own financial statement, then it should reflect at King Fahd without a consolidated. Maybe
and they should have their own procurement.
Governor, we are assisting you.
Yeah, no, Chair, I just want to clarify. Even with FIF, it's not enough. So the county executive supports the entities. We don't collect enough.
No, that's not the point. Yeah. That is not the point. The point is procurement at the entity level. They are allowed to have procurement officers.
Yes, they do that.
And so if they are purchasing oil and lubricants less than 3 million, then they are allowed to do procurement at that level. But then that global figure, when it comes to the financial statements, it comes to 60 million. And that's what the auditor is querying. So, I don't know, I think I've understood it. But then steps taken to mitigate, they are saying that now they have an open tender process, which then would do the tendering for all the entities, I believe. So much so that if a particular hospital requires oil and lubricants, then they would request to be supplied by the
But the F5 is, you know, if the hospitals are allowed now under F5, as you have chair, to procure on their own.
Yes.
So when they appear before peak, and I know they have appeared, those appearances will come through the financial statements of that specific
and they should be allowed
facility.
To procure competitively.
Correct, competitively and as per the procurement laws.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, you know, this procurement for oil and lubricants has been a major challenge for a lot of counties. And I don't know why. Because I've also heard my colleague here alluding to a situation where perhaps if you procure with Shell, then is there a Shell that is near a facility that is consuming the oil? I would want to understand how this central procurement would work. Because first of all, Chair, you realize that if it is a petrol station branded Shell, it does not mean that it is owned by a Shell headquarters. It's a franchise. So it's a business entity on its own, where it is. So you cannot procure centrally for Shell and then you assume that any Shell petrol station anywhere will be able to supply the entities that want to consume the oil and lubricants. So this centralized procurement for oil and lubricants, I want to understand how that will work. Perhaps for Lamu it could, because they're small county towns of landmass. But for places like where we come from, I don't know how that would work.
And then also maybe unless we are doing for departments, you know, Department of Education would require fuel, Department of Health, Department of Lands, and each department then has a procuring entity procure on their own. Maybe let's get your wisdom for the open tender.
And Chair, for your information, the whole of Lamu East constituency does not have a single petrol station.
Even one.
Even one.
Through the chair, I also want to add that.
Yes,
Thank you, Chair.
I thought you are.
I also want to add that in Lamu County, there are areas that we need to operate.
Order members, order.
In Lamu County, there are areas which we need to operate, which are in the islands. And one of the requirements for a supplier to supply fuel for Lamu, he must have a petrol station at sea. Therefore, that's also another challenge. And the basic reason as to why we procure through departments is because of that kind of uniqueness of Lamu geography. But we have had the observation of the auditor, and we are acting on it. We are procuring all the fuel. In fact, this financial year, we procure through an open tender.
So how will it work? You have many hospitals.
There are challenges.
You also have departments within the executive.
Yeah, there are challenges, but because we are guided by the law and they're insisting on it, but I just wanted some clarification and insight. Was it a breach of law to procure through a department which is mandated by law that this department can procure, and the threshold is allowable for that department to procure? And all procedures, in fact, the auditor can attest to it, all procedures for procuring through threshold, 3 million were followed.
Okay, auditor, let me just hear your thinking again, then we close this issue. It's a bit interesting.
Thank you, Chair. I think what the observation was actually saying is that if you look at the total expenditure, which was 67 million, so if you break it down into 3 million, then it's like splitting the tender. You're avoiding competition. So that was the gist of the query. Yes, thank you, Chair.
We'll look at it. Okay, Governor, you want to say something?
Yeah.
You can open up some other things.
The 3 million is threshold.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that everyone is 3 million.
Yeah, I know.
It's 2 million, it's 1 million.
I understand.
Meaning
Yes.
we did not exceed the threshold.
I think for us, because he looked at the global figure to make that observation, for us also we'll sit and write our report according to what will be advised by our people and also how we look at it. Members, because of time, we had said we'll end it at midday, actually some minutes to midday, so that we can start on Nairobi. I have marked the issues that we've looked at. There are issues that we've not looked at that require our attention. So, Governor, we should be able to call you back here, especially for the delayed projects and other issues on, mainly it is just delayed projects. We want to know how far the projects like the county headquarters, construction of governor's residence, further sub-county headquarters, all those we've not looked at. And also we have the issue of ROR, which we've not looked at. So I know we'd have opportunity to invite you again, but our time is up. We need to adjourn for some few minutes, members. I'll give you opportunity to talk. Yeah, we'll have to adjourn for some few minutes, but before we do that, let me have can you donate our time to Senator Lamu to give some remarks? There would really not be closing remarks because we've not finished with this report. So, Governor, please just have your closing remarks, then we would see how to end it.
Chair, first, thank you very much on the delayed projects. Thanks to the Senate. What was missing was funding from the national government. And I appeared before other committees of the Senate to push for this county headquarters funding. And as of yesterday, we have received the first tranche of 120 million. So I just want to express our appreciation to the Senate for pushing, because this money was always budgeted, but it was never paid over to us, the 5 counties. So
is that the whole amount that is required to complete?
No. I said it's the first tranche. There's still some.
Okay, out of how much?
But it, at least we'll be able, like in my county headquarters, a building is there. I can at least complete 1 floor and make it useful for occupation. So I really appreciate and I thank all of you for according us this opportunity.
Senator Lamu.
Thank you very much, Chair. There is an issue that I wanted us to address on the issue of unfinished projects, but I've not seen it being captured here in the report, although it was supposed to be in the previous year, 2022-2023. There was a time that the governor came into this committee, and there was some document that he was supposed to provide. And there was some money that was lost, around 795 million Kenya shillings. When the committee issued an instruction that the executive bring the report here, it was never brought. So there is a problem, Chair, because the governor took me to court on that issue. So now I don't understand the reason as to why the executive did not provide those documents to this committee to date, because those documents are supposed to form the basis of my my argument in court, and they were never brought. And it was supposed to be brought to the Auditors General, and then the Auditor General forward those documents to the committee, so that now the committee can now give me those documents. It was never done. And the governor has taken me to court because of that issue.
Can I say something?
Just a minute.
No, please.
Just a minute. Governor, just a minute.
You see,
I'll give you opportunity.
Okay.
I'll give you opportunity. Do you know the documents that are supposed to be brought?
Chair, it is in Hansard. Those documents were supposed to be the unfinished projects.
Chair, I think I chaired that meeting. Let me assist for efficiency. we direct, and then as a committee, I think you were chairing another meeting in the first floor. We were supposed to be given updates on unsolved prior year matters under review on Appendix 1, number 21, project implementation status on acquisition of assets. So we were querying the amount that came to 795, and we directed then the governor and the executive to provide documentation to the OAG. I think Muriuki might have been there, or his colleague, and the secretariat to receive that amounted to 795 million. So, Chair, if you want finer details as per number 21, that is page 12 of the certificate appendix 1 on resolved prior year audit matters, then we can refer to the answer, and I would request my brother, Senator Kituku, to maybe give time and ensure you give correspondence to the finer details. But that order was given, so it is up to the OAG and Secretariat to indicate whether they received those documents. I yield back, Chair.
Governor. Chair, with due respect, there was no money lost. And the senator went ahead in public and said the governor stole the money. There's a big difference. So I sued him for defamation.
So let's look at this thing. I'm not a lawyer myself, but being around lawyers, if we go to the depth of this matter, we might sink into the flouting the subjudice rule. Number one. Number two, if there are documents that were required, what they brought, if you don't know, we should be able to give you time so that we request for the same documents again, and then we look at the issue of the 795 million at another meeting. Yes?
Chair, I have to confirm.
Chair.
Okay, see.
I want to assert that we replied, sent the document, and they were received at the Senate.
Okay.
We were given like 14 days to respond, and we responded within time and submitted the documents to this House.
Senator?
But I asked the AOG and they said that they never received the documents.
Did you ask our clerk?
Yes, I asked them. They said that they don't have the documents.
I think what you do, you just retrieve the documents and supply to the area senator. I don't think he's the one who's supposed to come look for them. If they are with us, just give them over.
If they're there,
Chair, I will
give them to the senator.
Thanks.
If they are not there, then within the next 7 days, communicate to the governor.
So, Chair,
within 14 days they should be here if they are not supplied.
Chair.
Yes.
You know,
also we are pressed for time.
Yes. But you know, your colleague is in court.
Yes.
So you can't take it lightly, and I don't know which came first. Whether the court jumped on our case or we are jumping on the court's case. I don't know when this matter went to court. Did it go to court before we were seized of it, or it went to court after?
We were seized of it first.
Then how do you then get somebody to court on a matter that is before the Senate? Because the final examination,
the issue, he called me a thief in public. It's not what he said here. This is privileged. What he said out there, that he summoned me to Senate and that I stole 709
It's okay, Governor. Senator Wambua.
It's okay. It's okay, people. It's okay with time. You know, if you don't want to stop, we can stop. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can stop. If you don't want us to talk.
Please, Chair, allow him.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
you know, Chair. There is one thing that you must also understand.
Yes, our colleague is in trouble.
That the final determination as to whether there was money lost does not lie with my friend, the governor, or the senator. That matter will have to be subjected to a process. The determination will be made as to whether the money was lost and whether the loss is on account of theft or misapplication of funds. So I think it would have been better for the governor and also the senator to allow this process. If we ask for documents, then we should have concluded on the documents. Then after the outcome of the committee, you decide what to do with this matter. I'm not a lawyer, that's just what I'm saying.
Okay, let's listen to a lawyer.
As a lawyer.
So on what basis did he go out there and call me?
Governor, it's okay.
No, it's a governor.
You don't have the mic, Governor.
Pressure.
Yes.
As a lawyer.
You can listen to lawyers now.
Chair, you are wading into dangerous territory. I want you to adjourn this meeting.
Another lawyer? Governor? I'm not Chair.
Chair,
You are a lawyer, but...
Chair, what I can say...
What the chair said?
No, you need to withdraw, Chair, because I am an active member of LSK. I have paid for my practicing certificate for this year. Mine is just in the interest of time, and you know our colleague is in trouble. I want just to encourage Kituku that what is happening, let us finish the process, Chair. Let the senator be supplied with documentation. Then you can form your basis. But I want to encourage you, personally, Sifuna and colleague have been sued by many people, including CS of Interior. So you should not fear.
I will not fear.
Yes, so you should not fear. And if you need legal services, you can get from some of us. I know how to deal with it.
So I'm not saying...
Yeah, that's called ambulance chief.
Okay.
It is called solidarity.
Just 1 minute.
It's called solidarity with colleague. No, I'm not
Chairman, we want to request that, so to be able to support this committee, we want to request the officer of the county to give us the dates when that information was provided. That will make it very efficient for us to be able to make a follow-up with the Kilifi office. Thank you, Chair.
So I've given, whether you submitted them or not, I've given you 14 days to make sure that you submit the same documents to the auditor and a copy to our secretariat. No, the senator would get them through the secretariat. I think this meeting is adjourned until 12:30 when we'll be having Nairobi County Government. Thank you.